I've called the meeting to order. Commissioner Weeks, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor the memory of Dean Buntrock, who passed away last Friday, just shy of his 95th birthday. Dean was instrumental in revitalizing the town of Columbia and also played a significant role in the new display at the Dakota Parade Museum, so our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Thank you, everyone. Next up, before we approve the agenda, under item number 8, B, we need to add a MASA contract to that. It came in late, MASA, so that will be in addition to the agenda. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comments. Anyone wishing to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda? Online, on the phone? Seeing none, we will continue. Public hearing, a special event alcohol beverage license for Spurs Therapeutic Riding Center.
Notice of hearing for special event alcoholic beverage license. Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2 and 35-4-124, a public hearing on the following special event alcoholic beverage license, malt beverage and wine. Application is set for the 21st day of April 26th in the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners in the Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register a complaint on their approval may appear. Spurs Therapeutic Riding Center, Aberdeen, South Dakota, Spurs 2nd Edition, northwest quarter of Section 6, Township 123 North and Range 63 West, Brown County, South Dakota. Temporary special event alcohol license will be effective for September 19th, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, approve and authorize chairman to sign the JDC agreement with the Aberdeen School District.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, approve Leah Eisenbeis for the Junior Fair Board.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, with the right-of-way, a couple right-of-ways, and approved contracts. Morning, Dirk.
Look, you're on time.
That was early. I don't know what order those right-of-ways are in. I need to...
Webwater first.
Okay, we'll do the Webwater one. This is it for Berheim's up at, Elm Lake. And he's actually the first place you come to on the south side when you come in there. So it's some, I don't know, did you get a picture of it? And the line kind of snakes around on the other side of the road, so he's just got to connect under it, connect onto it, and just run under the road. But he's back a little bit. This sits up on top. It's not one of those that's down on the lake there, but I would recommend it.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert, to approve the Webwater right-of-way. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'm pulling back that other one. That started out as one thing and turned into something else. I don't know if you guys are familiar, Road 2 up there north of where you turn to go to the dam at the Elm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the first mile is where you want to go over to where the actual dam is, you know, now that road's cut off there.
Yep.
When you continue on north, I don't know what the origin of those roads is, but they basically, we threw gravel on the section line, or so I thought. There's no ditches up there, it's just always been something, okay, there's not a lot of traffic, it's mostly pasture. If we can get by, we're not gonna do anything too crazy up there. Actually, this is one of the spots that we don't even, depending on the winter, we sometimes barricade it off, and there's just a couple guys back in there that call us if they have to get in there. So, my point is, I don't think there's been a lot done to that road. Started out with Bill Edwards called and actually got permission from Sumptions, who are on the other side of the road, and it's trapped water up there. And, so he wanted to put a culvert in there, kind of spread it out over, which is actually a good idea, then you got lower water level next to the road, blah, blah, blah. Got all the okays and permissions from Sumptions, we were gonna do this. And when he started digging in, Ben Hofer was doing it, he hit an old culvert. So maybe at one time, there was more of a road up there than we thought, and for whatever reason, it's underneath. So once we find that that's the existing drainage, it sort of becomes a county project, and that's why I'm saying that we're not gonna get that, because we're gonna pay over to put the pipe in, pull out the old stuff that's in there and clean it all out. We had a similar thing on 10 just north of town, when we were actually, ourselves were doing road dig outs. We weren't even doing anything with drainage, and we found a culvert up there, and, well, you gotta put it back. So, that led to a very short cease and desist order from a local attorney, but Ross took care of it for us very quickly, and we continued on. So my point is, this isn't an unprecedented thing, I just did not find old pipe. But that's why it started out as a request from a landowner, and, by the time we were done, we had to have him take out some other stuff, so it became our project, and that's why we're doing it, so we don't need a right-of-way occupancy.
Okay.
Just those two and a department update's what I got on there?
Well, and then we need to approve the, rentals, different machinery and so on.
Yeah, so Edwards.
Gravel material.
I'm sorry.
I move? Yeah.
Motion by Dennert?
That's for the wet water one, right?
No, we
No.
did the wet water one.
That's for the rentals, the big.
And the
Oh,
Bill Edwards.
we'll come back to that.
Edwards gonna defer though, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you're making a
No, not
motion on the
first.
full operation of rental and gravel trucks?
Yes, on C, sorry.
Okay. All of C?
Yep.
Okay. We have a motion by Dennert to approve the contracts under C. Second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Sorry to interrupt.
Now, a department update.
You're not old enough to fall asleep during the meeting yet.
No,
No.
I'll pay attention. Doesn't look like it, but that's typical.
After tomorrow. he'll-
After tomorrow. A few things we're working on. The gates, we opened the gates back up, but we anticipate closing them because the river's still coming up, and it was up to 73, so, I mean, that's still over 6 feet down from the top, but, you know,
They increased the flows a little bit.
yeah, not catastrophically yet, but they are
Gets here.
tweaking them up.
It gets here.
We've got room for more runoff.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't start draining the dam.
Well, I do wanna touch on that without everybody going into, oh my God, we're all gonna die, because I did talk to Dwayne a little bit, because I wasn't around when that Foot Creek flooded, to try to get an idea on it. And not that they're gonna flood the creek, okay? The releases should operate right below flood stage on the foot, and I think that'll be fine. The thing everybody forgets that James, I mean, I'm going a little overboard here, but they're just things you gotta keep in mind when you're trying to drain a Foot Creek, because it's gotta have somewhere to go. And right now, the gym's probably okay for taking it, but, you know, if there was a huge change in that, and it doesn't even have to happen here, get a 3-inch rain up in the river valley north of us, and that would really slow down the draining on the lake there, you know, so.
If we can back water up in Marshall County, we want to do that.
Well, I might touch on that topic a little bit today too, because that's another.
They won't get touchy about that.
So anyway, the gates, the river's coming up still, but we're nowhere, you know, we still have 6 feet to the top of the gates and stuff like that, so there's lots of room, but something to be aware of. The railroad crossing project over on 14, actually the pre-con's happening right now. I've got the foreman over at that, but they're getting ready to do that. I'll find out later today exactly when, but it's presently, I mean, in the next few weeks. The last instructions I gave them guys is we're not closing it, okay? So, and I think I told you that before, the length of time that that project will be out there will be extended, but there'll always at least be one lane open, and yeah, you're gonna have to stop and deal with that, but that's the trade-off. We are being able to keep it open, because it, you know, they had made a request, and to their benefit, if we had a better option to maybe a different location and blah, 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 yeah, you should close it, get the whole thing done in 2 weeks, but I'm sitting here going, where are we putting 3,000 cars, plus if we have a call for beans again and all this other stuff, we'll have a little bit of some complications. So I think the best bet's just to, we'll have to just put up with it a little longer, but we will be able to keep getting traffic through there. The bridge up at Sand Lake, they snuck out for a little bit, and they, to work on another one, the Prime has gotten everything done here in town. It's just subcontractor work that's left for them. They went to do a few other things on another bridge, but they planned on being back probably by the end of the month or so. They originally talked about the 27th, but I would think that's gonna get pushed back a little bit, maybe a week. Stuff we're doing presently, running around coal patching as much as we can. We're supposed to be able to get asphalt around the 1st, and then we'll be hitting that pretty hard. We're doing a little bit, since low limits are on, we're doing a little prep work for some of the stuff we're gonna do at the fairgrounds this year, and help clean up the Bowl-O-Rama, because we made a deal, kept the material. So, we actually created a little labor for some trucking there, and got some more rodeo sand for some projects out there, and they also put them in some buildings. And just as I'm talking about this stuff, these are all things that we had planned on, there's money set aside for, and
Cooperating together?
yeah, well, we're trying. And I'll just say that that's also gonna be the first place we pave, because I wanna work the kinks out at the fairground and then go out on the roads. And, 'cause we are having a couple personnel changes on the paving crew, and we're gonna use that as a training opportunity, but, I do wanna say that out loud, so that, well, geez, my road's got a pothole, and they're in there frickin' paving the fairgrounds. And, we'll be running a patch crew at the same time that we're paving in there. I mean, it's not like we're gonna be, just stop doing everything, but,
There is a plan.
yep, there's a plan. The comment about Marshall County, I'm gonna roll this whole thing's part of the low limits discussion. A week ago, I was trying to create my long dissertation on how I was gonna convince you that we need to extend them at the end of the month. Things at least seem to have plateaued. The stuff that's blown up already continues to blow up, but we're not getting real bad additional stuff. So I'm not looking at all before the end of the month, but I've pretty much moved off of extending them unless something weird happens. In the northeast, Road 9, which is right on the north side of Claremont, which is gravel, and 7, which is about, I don't know, what is that?
4 miles
Was
north.
that 3 miles north of there? Oh, no, there's Claremont. So then about 5 miles north of there, so Claremont, these roads up here, this one and this one, are just freaking destroyed. We went up, tried to fix them, but we were making it worse. So what we got up there is, it's closed down to 1 lane, and I think we're keeping emergency management abreast. You can get through with emergency vehicles, so we've got them open. You can physically drive through there, but they're down to 1 lane, and the middle of them are just destroyed. Our shop in Claremont, the yard, we pulled the plow truck out the last time. Yeah, it was a great time to be plowing snow, but it fell right through, just pulled out and went through. And that I don't ever remember happening. These two aren't exactly world champion roads, but it's been a long time since we've had gravels blow up this bad. We generally just sacrifice the gravels, we don't post them, we have a couple that are, around town, but we've never, and I don't wanna start doing it, I'm just gonna throw these things out for people that think we're overly restrictive in this area. We don't have a gross, all right? We have 6 ton per axle. A lot of counties are fighting that now, they wanna put on a 80,000 pound gross. So it doesn't matter if you got 50 axles, you can still only be 80,000. I've never really been a fan of that. I'm just like, okay, here's the rules. If you wanna keep hauling, just get enough axles under it. I don't know if that's the best philosophy or not, but, I know Spink County's looking at that, and they're like going, there's a whole corner of the county that's, so,
And we've even done that in the past where we've said, okay, north of and south of for
Right.
a couple of weeks, because it's not all the same.
no, and, I mean, they're like, I'm thinking about Lake County or Davidson County, 4 of them fit in here, so, maybe this part needs load limits, but this doesn't. And I agree with you, but
This is the size box we got.
yeah, and that's an effective thing to do. I'm not a fan of doing it because we have some guys farm up here and some guys farm down here, and down here they can run legal, and then, you're north of US 12, and a couple other I'm getting lots of calls, well, Spring County took their load limits off. I want everybody to remember, we were on like 2 weeks after. Remember, it got really warm and a lot of people freaked out, and we got through it, and then it got cold again, so our load limits have been on like 2 weeks less than most of these other people, because we were fine, and now we're on the other end of it, where our north up here is way wetter
Yeah,
than
there's subsurface moisture.
what's down here.
There's been so little moisture to the south of us.
There really is.
I mean,
So,
It is what it is.
now back to your your Marshall County comment. Something, I don't know what it is, it might be witchcraft or the way water moves through the ground,
Mhm.
but I truly think there's something to that on how, because they've done a lot of improvements with their drainage up there, because they have a hill to push it down. Obviously, we just have the one really flat hill,
Mhm.
and, so I know they've upgraded stuff, and it comes down and boosh, hits the bottom of the hill here, it's like spilling frickin' milk on the table, it just goes everywhere. But I think there's something to that with the way this drainage works, and then I see they're doing a project on whatever, that 27, that weird highway that comes south of, we don't have a map in here, but comes south of Britain, and they're upgrading all the drainage in that. So, I'm thinking,
Well, their water district is very active in all of that, and they have a very active system, and they try to maintain it, and they have issues with that, from
yep,
critters damaging the banks and all kinds of other stuff, but, we used to have that to a certain extent north of the Putney
yep,
through there, 100 years ago. Not in any of our recollection, it was out of water, and you remember, we were being challenged to whose responsibility it is to clean that out.
right.
And that was a huge issue for 5-6 years until it was all underwater,
Water
and then it
again.
became a moot point. But, we were part of that whole network from 100 years ago as well.
So,
So, but yeah, subsurface moisture is a deal, and it migrates,
Gotta be.
and that's wet.
So anyway, that's the story with those roads, we're not abandoning them, we're losing ground by trying to get in there and do anything with them, and we got a path open now,
Well,
so,
it's a real pain for those people in those two or three townships up there, but it's not the whole county.
no.
Next year's a 7 years, so that's...
Well, I'm not gonna point any fingers, but golly, where do these roads go?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not our local talent that's wrecking them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. But we have the same problem with some guys over here and Road 9.
Well, they're hauling in for spring cleanup at the landfill, too.
That's Spink County.
fired up.
Oh, they are, too.
So I...
It's okay to have a little fun at this.
Right.
I hope that, things will continue like they are, and then we can just take them off on the 30th. I don't know, maybe a little moisture would help, but,
That's the state of things.
I think that's all I got, unless you guys got some stuff or things I forgot about.
Can we talk about, go ahead. We talked about the Richmond detour for a minute, is that what you were going at?
Yep.
I've talked to quite a few people, so a little background on this. So at the meeting the other day, our original plan for the detour is to go all the way 127th up to 281. There was a gentleman at the Richmond Lake meeting that brought up that concerns about the data center traffic on 281 in the morning, and getting turned off that road, turned on and off 127th being a 2-lane versus the 4-lane.
Yep.
I've talked to quite a few people that currently live on 127th in various places on there, how difficult it is to get turned on. They're like, it's okay. You know, I said, well, what about adding 175 cars to it a day? Well, then you're gonna have a problem. So there has been a few people that have recommended to me going that 2 miles east and then going over to 129th County, whatever road that is, Richmond Road. So I don't know, we talked about talking about it, I don't know if we, or talked about thinking about it, I don't know how much we've thought about it or what your current feelings are on it, but just wanted to chat about it.
He brings up a valid point. The second mile, we're gonna have an issue pulling on and off of 13, because there's a visibility issue. That's not enough to throw it out, I mean, we can address it.
Well,
Can I ask you a quick
yeah,
question?
you can, I'm about this far from turning it over to you guys, so.
Is that road gonna get closed during this?
Which road?
The north-south one there that goes down to 13? Was
The
that
first-
like
the first mile.
384, 5?
Yeah,
So you come over on 127, 2 miles, and you go south. What is it,
383rd.
383rd? Is that what one we're talking
That's
about?
only a mile off of the
So,
dam.
the first,
Well, the road you're talking about going down on is
So, no,
380.
so originally it was discussed to come come east a mile and then go over, but that
Yeah.
goes through the river bottom and it's a narrower road, and I think it'll blow apart.
yeah, that road's not very good.
So if we go up 2 miles, now we're not saving anything on our blotter as far as distance goes, but it's a better road. But I haven't considered the visibility that Dirk is talking about.
Are you talking about 383rd then?
384.
384th, okay.
The visibility on the corner of 13 and 384th,
It's
you've got
poor.
trees.
I know what
you've
you're
got-
talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
hard to see. Yeah.
haven't looked at that, so.
And like I said, that's not a prohibitive deal, it's
Right.
just trees, but
Yep.
still, that's,
You're balancing the potential for
yep.
Increased in accidents, yeah.
There's just, I've heard a lot of people talk about the traffic on 281 lately, like,
Well, here's what I was getting at. Those two roads are both gonna be open. If you don't wanna go over to 281 on that, feel free to turn south and go down to the road. I don't see what the problem
The question is,
is.
which
It's
one
always
are we,
open.
which one are we gonna designate, and are we gonna take temporary
We're gonna-
responsibility?
we're gonna put a
Right.
blotter in one of them and take responsibility of the county for maintaining it. So, what is going to be the most benefit to the people here is the question. For us to, where are we putting our efforts to?
Which one are we
Well, I
gonna
think it would be
temporarily-
probably good if people did take a few of these alternative routes just to
Spread it
Just
out.
some of the traffic.
thin the traffic
Yeah.
down from just one
Mhm.
spot.
But when there's a foot of snow, which one are we gonna plow?
Okay, so question is 383rd, is that road not good enough through the whole way, or was
It's
that?
just narrow,
not-
it's only,
Not the best.
it's a 20-foot wide road, which.
I'm just looking, cause then it'd be a mile, 1 mile less.
I do, right, and that got brought up at the meeting, I question the base of that road to be able to hold.
When I drove it, the quality of 383rd from 13, 2 miles north is not great.
No.
Especially down through the bottom there.
And it has the
Sure.
potential for that flooding.
Yep.
Yep,
True,
Has
yeah.
and can and will again at some
Yep.
point.
yep.
If you go
Like
384th, you're
like
east of-
27.
You're east of Foot Creek, yeah.
I don't need an answer, I think it's worth a discussion.
Well, it's gonna happen here in a couple of weeks.
I know, and that's why
We're gonna have to make a decision.
Well, we did, but
we did, and I still
You have
think
to reconsider.
as far as the condition of the road, I think 127th is the best. If we're going to do all this, I think that's the best, but I just don't know how that's gonna work. I don't want to see someone get, you know,
It is a valid concern.
Yep.
You know, you look at the traffic morning and evening there. Everybody's leaving the house at the same time, trying to get somewhere.
And from what a few accounts of people that drive that road every day, it doesn't matter how many cops are out there, it is like Minnesota traffic, people weaving in and out and passing and,
Passing on the right when somebody's trying to turn left. That's state DOT, they're not gonna wanna do that for 2 years.
Yeah, moving it down to 13 would make the most sense from the safety standpoint of the divided 4-lane. You got the visibility there, and
I gotta go look at some more stuff.
that's fine. Like I said, I don't need an answer, I think we need to at least analyze that a little bit.
And, actually, it'll be up to Lincoln Township too. I mean,
yeah,
they ultimately gotta sign off on what we're doing,
right.
so.
It seems like historically though, when anything gets shut down there, the traffic goes on 127.
I completely,
Now, it would be the easiest to
completely
plow,
agree.
it's a straight through shot and
Yep.
everything like that. If people think that there's gonna be a problem getting on 281, which I might take just a little bit of, I get on 281, I've got on 281 4 times in the last 2 days over there.
Mhm.
And I don't think I've waited more than 20 seconds to get out there. Now, is there more traffic out there? Yes.
I agree.
But I don't think it's an impossibility to get onto the road. I mean, it is a
I don't.
detour, this is not like a permanent situation, so if they have to sit there for a few extra seconds,
There's
I
just,
mean-
there's a difference between
It's gonna be
10 in the morning and 7 in the morning, and most of the people at Richmond Lake, the commute overlaps a lot more than during the day, because I'm usually...
Well, that day I got up early, I wasn't getting on at 10, I was on just before, about, it was like 7:30, 7:35, so that was hitting the traffic
I'm not
going
trying to
north.
discredit what you said.
No, but I'm saying, it's not,
Okay.
getting on 281 is not an impossibility. I mean, there's literally how many roads along there that people get on 281 going from Aberdeen all the way to the, whatever, but to the state line, because that traffic goes all the way up, for the most part.
It's fine.
Semis jump out there, people with horse trailers, I don't know.
We're just adding 175 people, probably like you said, just because we put the detour...
You're not
here.
adding 175 people to that road, they're already getting on that road.
They're just getting on in the 4.
They're getting on a few miles farther south, on the 4-lane, yeah.
Yeah,
But the cars are staggered down there and they have to wait also.
correct.
I just thought it was the easiest one and the one that most people are gonna take is
I com-
127.
And I completely agreed initially, but after talking to some people, I think it's worth just at least talking about, which we're
Just
doing.
taking a look at it, yep.
So if we still do 127th, I'm fine. I'm not necessarily advocating for one or the other strongly. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, these are concerns people are bringing up, and it's...
So my next question would be, let's say we decide to go down whichever one of the 2 roads down to the second mile.
Mhm.
Then what do you do for the people that are on 127th when the traffic continues to go there and we've got dust blowing all over them all the time? So then we're gonna end up with 6 miles of blotter rather than the 4.
We're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
I didn't say a word, but I'm
No,
saying if
I
you're...
totally, and that, Commissioner Weiss brushed on that, which is sort of why I was semi-adamant about having a designated detour, because he remembers when we closed it, and you were probably one of the jack wagons in Lincoln Township that made it frickin' all the roads, and...
That's highly likely.
Well, you guys should have,
well,
probably a good chance of that,
No,
Oh, now the fight's on.
no, I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit, but...
But don't get combative, fellas.
No,
Everyone calm down.
We're not, no, and I
This is
have...
not Lincoln County.
I have, yeah. But,
Yeah.
but that did happen,
Lincoln
okay? We
Township.
did not, I don't remember which project, I think it might have been when we replaced the bridge on the Richmond Road,
Yep.
there by Al Specialties.
Mhm.
We did not specifically say,
Yep.
do this. And what ended up happening is, I'm not even saying it wasn't legitimate, okay, because we didn't put a detour out there, But then this road, and this road, and this road, and then a couple more in Aberdeen Township, because, well, everyone's coming through here to get out to Richmond because you guys don't have a detour. And pretty soon we were doing graveling 18 miles of road in 2 townships, so that's,
I would say that was well played by Lincoln Township.
I would say so.
I would say,
I think we-
but now on the other side, I'd say maybe
I
you
think
wanted
you had
to
us
make a
pave
detour.
and mill up the same road too, if I remember right, over
That's how we
there.
play the DOT when they wanna use one of our roads for a detour.
Okay, to pinch from the hip here, and I think is we blotter this, or excuse me, we blotter this, because even if we blotted this and this, what Mike's saying is gonna happen. We're still gonna have people going, "Well, he's
That's gonna go this way and that's gonna go that way.
Right. I've never said anything about blotter and north-south roads, okay?
And once you do that one.
So what I would, I will research this, but my 80% pitch from the hip thing was, we're still gonna blotter this, and we'll look at the tree situation and see if that's easy without having to get into, well, my grandpa planted that tree and that's, you know, I don't wanna get into any of that, but, if we can make that reasonable, then we can gravel this. The cost of that, even plowing it, is not really that outlandish. I mean, it'll be another 20 grand, say, and depending on, you know, that'll be 20 grand a year, maybe, something like that. For them 2 miles, it'll be another 40. This'll be, I don't know what I've been saying, just short of 200 maybe for, I'm talking little maintenance and everything. So we'll probably have 250,000 into, I'm totally pitching from the hip here, into our detour.
Sure. I'm not suggesting we have 2 detours here. I think we do one thing and that is it.
No, and we are gonna do that, but what we'll do, I mean, if they're that knowledgeable on the traffic patterns, and they should be, I'm just saying, then we will gravel this. I'm not putting up any signs or anything. We'll just make sure you can turn on here, and we'll gravel, and this is all contingent on Lincoln Township wanting us to go over their county, or their township. But we can throw that in with the minimal cost relative to the rest of it.
Well, it's like I suggested them. I said, we will monitor the situation and we will do whatever we can within reason to make it safe for them to be able to get in and out. And that will be dynamic. It'll change.
Right.
I agree.
Is that,
Depending on the conditions and what their perception of what the easiest way is for them.
You're making that right-hand turn onto 281,
Or we
most
just
of the
be
traffic is going north anyway.
yeah, and making a right-hand turn there, I really got trouble that you can't make a right-hand turn in the morning. I don't care how many cars are there.
Yeah, but just on the surface, you're talking about 2 lanes at 65 miles an hour and 4 lanes, which means, okay, if somebody's turning and pretending that, you know, the one lane is a turning lane, you got the other lane for those that are impatient to go by, and the speed limit's 10 miles lower.
Yep.
Biggest problem time, I think, is gonna be at 5:30 when people are heading north to turn and go west on 127 with all the traffic coming from the north. That'll be the most dangerous time, I think.
At night?
Yeah.
Yes, at 5:30.
Because in the morning, they can turn and go right, and there's no traffic coming from, less traffic coming from the north, they're all going north.
I think
Maybe
that
one of these
7:30
decent
AM traffic.
for whoever
yeah,
wants
they-
to go
yeah,
that way.
5:30
Yeah.
PM.
Because
could
some
be-
people aren't gonna wanna frickin' drive on gravel again.
Yeah.
There's just some people that will not drive gravel, and there's some, if they don't, unless they don't, absolutely don't have to, and there's some that don't care, so.
Yep.
But that's what I would suggest. We'll still do this, and we'll pick this out unless there's a trouble here, and keep that.
And like you said, it's communicating with the township people and say, hey, look, it is what it is. And
Yep.
we're gonna participate to the extent that makes sense. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Thank you for humoring me.
No, that's actually what I had thought about, was doing that. And like I said,
Well, follow-up, it was a good meeting. We had a lot of good
I thought it was a
exchange
good meeting.
for
Yeah, it was.
information, concerns, and a whole variety of things, so, and like you said, had some legitimate points, and we
no, I
heard them, and we're taking them into account.
Yep. No, it was a good meeting. That's the least beating I've ever taken out there, so that was a win.
Yeah. Good
Well,
exchange of
coming.
ideas and thoughts, yeah, it was good.
And if we need an updated ordinance about sight lines and the rest of that stuff,
All right, that's all I got, unless you guys wanna tell them anything else.
when you go into Thames.
Like the 4th, is that a Monday? Yep.
It's coming up.
Yep.
May 4th,
Yeah.
yep.
It always gets weird after the time changes since, Bush Junior moved that, because we used to just switch at the time change.
Yeah.
And so you got 2 months of coming to work when it's like, we should be working.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sun's up.
we used to change that around a little bit, but I've always ended up, we take off load limits and be working or switch hours and be working 10-hour days, but we couldn't haul anywhere, so I'm kinda like, well, why are we on 10-hour days then?
Right.
You've always done it that way.
Yeah. All right, have a
Alright.
beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dirk.
Yeah.
Dirk.
You're all signed up, we better.
I'm gonna stay here and harass you, what are you talking about?
Good. And we don't have to.
Pay her back, huh?
Yeah.
All right, next up, Allison Thunheim, HR Director. Discuss benefits. Good morning.
All right, we're just gonna go over the benefits that the county's gonna proceed with this year. We're gonna stay with our vision insurance with Optalegra, and there are gonna be no plan changes or premium increases for this next year. Dental, we will stay with Delta Dental, and we will be increasing the annual max allowed per member from $1,200 to $1,500, and there will be a 2.5% increase. Health insurance, we're gonna stay with Wellmark, but we will be making some changes to the plan in order to keep the renewal rates at a lower increase amount. We're gonna keep both the copay plan and the high deductible health plan. However, the structure of our copay plan will be adjusted to include increases with deductibles, out-of-pocket max, emergency room copays, prescriptions, and non-primary care provider office visits. And there will be no changes to the plan structure for the HSA compatible high deductible health plan. The copay plan will increase by $1,000 for both the single and family deductible, and by $2,000 for the single and family out-of-pocket max. The copays for non-primary care provider office visits will increase by $5. Copays for each RX tier will increase by $10, and preferred specialty prescriptions will remain at 20%, but we will increase the capped amount by $100. With these changes to our copay plan, our renewal rate will be at 10.92%. We will remain with Health Equity for our health savings accounts, flexible spending account, and a dependent care flexible spending account. And we will be introducing a voluntary supplemental insurance option for medical transport coverage to include ground and air transport. This is through MASSA and offered to us through our risky benefits vendor. And lastly, open enrollment is scheduled for May 4th through May 15th, and we will be holding open enrollment meetings in the community room on the 7th and 8th for employees and their dependent family members to attend. Okay. All right.
All
That's all I
right.
have.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. All right, what we need is approve and authorize chairman to sign the contract with Walmart, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Massa.
Move.
Motion by Dinger,
Second.
second by Gage. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, we have discussed Northeast Council of Governments agreement and proposed bylaw changes. We're gonna be having a Zoom meeting on the 29th to discuss potential changes. They've had some issues. I visited with Eric Singer last week regarding county involvement on that, on their board, and attendance and participation has been dwindling the last few years to the point where they're getting less and less representation from counties. So we have a designated representative and an alternative, or two representatives and an alternative, so they're gonna be doing some bylaw changes that'll be dealt with on the 29th, and as a result of that, we'll get word of what the new policy will be, and I believe Kyler is one of the representatives, and I am, and I have not participated to the extent that I should have been, and I don't think Commissioner Dinger has as well. Scott Mines is the designated alternative, so the bylaw change would basically would require one representative per county, and they're just trying to lessen the number of people so that there's a better chance of having better participation. So that's the purpose of the meeting, and I'll let you know what comes of that after next week's Zoom meeting. So, any questions on that? They're just trying to get better representation from the county. All right, moving on, consent calendar. Lynn?
Approval of the meeting minutes of April 14th for the general meeting.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Dinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Brown County Board of Equalization.
Move.
Motion by Gage, second by Dinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Consolidated Board of Equalization.
Move.
Motion by Dinger,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Approval of the special meeting minutes of April 15th.
Move. Motion by Denner,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatements.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Dinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Sheriff reports for March of 26.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Dinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? Had a request to go into executive session for HR, and contracts,
One legal question.
and legal.
Move.
Okay, motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, we are back in session out of exec with no action as a result. Is there anything else we need to discuss or talk about today?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.